Hey guys, welcome to Meet the Owner, where you know we're all about making an impact through entrepreneurship. I am excited to announce that we're now starting a new mini series. This is a series where we talk to people who are in a job but have also started a business. These are people who aspire for more and are doing something about it. In our very first episode, we're speaking with Toluwani. She is a pharmacist and has started a gift business. I hope you enjoy this interview. And guys, please remember to subscribe to our channel below so that you won't miss out on any interviews.
I grew up in Warrington, originally from Nigeria. I now live in Preston, and I came here for uni. I did pharmacy. I'm now a pharmacist. Yeah. So, like 2 years ago-ish, no, a year and a bit ago, I started a side hustle, all about giving out personalised gifts. But I've kind of tried to turn it into a fully functioning business, part-time business at the moment, because I work full-time as a pharmacist, a hospital pharmacist. So that's kind of how it started-ish.
What was the first thing you ever said? I want to be this when I grow up.
I actually don't remember. I think I used to change my mind a lot. I knew I wanted to do something that looked after people, and made people happy. I think I always was in the medicine field. So at one point I wanted to be a doctor. At one point I wanted to be a nurse. At one point I wanted to be just in the medicine field. I don't think I ever said I want to be a pharmacist, which is funny because that's what I am now. But I always knew I wanted to do something around caring for people, making people happy, kind of thing.
What's something that you could have, if you could tell yourself before the whole process of applications and interviews, what would you say to yourself? What advice would you give to yourself?
I think I'd say one, don't let failures, don't let what you think is a failure get you down too much. So the first few, obviously I didn't get, and they'd say things like, "Oh, your answers are great, but so and so and so." And I think it's making sure you take the weaknesses and you build on it rather than just letting it bring you down. Because I know with at least the first one or two interviews, it took me a lot to okay, let's refine, let's go for it again. Because technically those aren't failures. It's just stepping stones to where you actually need to get to. And then I'd also say, don't be scared or intimidated. So and I think for me, I'd teach myself they don't know you. That for me was a big thing, because I'd walk into an interview and I'd be oh, but what if I come off like this, or what if I come off as to this and to that? But it's they actually don't know you. Whatever you say, whatever bubbly character you bring, whatever smiles you bring, whatever eye contact you bring, that's who they know Toluwani as, because they don't know Toluwani. So it's it's okay to just be out there and just just be confident, because that's the only version of you they'll get, if that makes sense.
Where did business come into all of this?
Good question. So I think it was in my uni years, obviously if you have friends and they have birthdays or they have special occasions and whatever, and I used to always give gifts. But I remember in my first year, my second year, financially I was doing pretty well. So you can buy your friends gift cards, you can buy them I don't know, a pair of shoes or perfume or whatever. But in my third year, my fourth year, I was really skin. I didn't have a lot of money. My student finance went down a lot, and I wasn't working because I was trying to focus on my studies. So it was you still want to give a nice gift, but you don't have the funds that you used to have. And that's when I started to think out of the box. Pun intended. So that's when I started to think out of the box, and it was okay, what can I give my friend that they're gonna like for their birthday? So then I started messing around with photos and messages, and I started making frames, and I'd ask friends okay, can you give me one thing you like about this person? And then I get 6 of us to write a message each, and then I'd put it into a frame with photos of each person, or I'd put it in a scrapbook, or I just started doing things that were cheaper but more time consuming, because technically back then I had the time to make some things. I didn't necessarily have the funds, so it was a much more cost efficient. But it turned out that my friends, it seemed that they liked those gifts more than the gifts I've given them in the past, and I like doing it as well. So I started just like doing that more and more. And like the more I did it, people would be like, oh wow, this is so nice, I'd pay for it, you know? And I was like, okay, cool. And then like I didn't really take it seriously. And then like 2-3 years were gone by and people were still like, you should actually do something with this. Like you should really do something. And I was like, I'm not a business person. I'm not sure it'll work. I'm not business minded. So I kind of like left it. And then like, I think it must have been my last year of uni or like my pre-reg time. I was like, you know what, I really want to do something with this. I want to try it. And I talked to a few people, talked to a few friends, and some were really encouraging. And I was like, you know what, let's try it. You know what, let's try it. So I just, I think that's when I set up an Instagram page. And I just started putting up like photos of ones I'd done in the past. And I just kind of saw what the response was like. I spoke to friends that have more business acumen than I have, and they gave me like advice and help, just to like help me like build it as it's been. So like it's been going well it's been going all right for now. I think now this year I've got more of a like clear business strategy, and like I know like the audience that I'm like giving it to. Whereas in the first year I was kind of just like, let's do this, let's throw this there, let's try that out. Like didn't really have a strategy. Whereas I think now I'm refining it a bit better. So that's kind of like how it's came out of nowhere.
And so what were some of your fears of actually turning it into a proper business?
Fears, I had a lot of fears. I think my number one fear was of it failing. Like it just like people not liking it. Because obviously like my friends were the people who first got the thing. I think when friends say something, it's great, but it's also a bit biased because it's like, well, you like me anyway. So whatever I do, you're gonna say is nice. And I think because when you put something out there as well, because for me, making like these gifts and these frames is a very like personal thing. Like it's something that I really like, and it's like I don't know what the word is, but it's like it's almost like a reflection of me. So then like putting that out there and then being like, oh, hello world, like judge me. It's kind of a bit scary because it's like, well, if they don't like it, they're not like me kind of thing. But I think you just have to separate yourself like from it and be like, you know what, it's okay, because not everybody's gonna like it. Not everybody has to like it either. But it's just taking that risk of saying like, okay, let me put it out there and do it. And I think another fear was not like, because before I said I'm not business minded, I think thinking that I wouldn't be able to like know how to sustain it or know what to do with it, like if it reaches a certain level and it's like, okay, I'm panicking now, I don't know what to do. And I think just having friends and people that know about business and not being scared to reach out to them as well and be like, can you help me with this? Or can you do this for me? Like whether that means like you're paying them and it's a service or it's just like advice, just being able to reach out to them, I think as well. And when you need help is good. Those are probably my main fears.
Just very briefly, what would you say is like the end goal?
So at the moment, I do want to carry both for a while, because I'm at the very beginning stages of my career. So there's certain like levels that I want to reach as a hospital pharmacist. But knowing the time scale of that, I know that I can also build the business in that time. But I do want to get to the point where if I wanted to, I could start working with the business and like maybe be able to employ people, maybe have an office that we're based in, that kind of thing. Like I do want it to grow and get bigger. Yeah, but that's going to take time and that's going to take, resources. And I appreciate that and I understand that. But I think that is the end goal for me currently.
How do you manage with both working full-time as a pharmacist and having Notinabox as a business?
So I'm a very organized person, even if I do say so myself. But I think for me, to-do lists are a must. Like I love a good to-do list. So like, and I'll do like daily ones. So like I'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'll prioritize. And I think a lot of this also comes from my career because a lot of being a pharmacist is to do with prioritization. But I'll prioritize like the tasks that I have for the day or for the week, or if I've got an order, then I'll put it on a certain day and I'll break up the tasks, whether it's like contacting the customer, or if it's printing the photos, or if it's decorating the frame, like whatever the task is, I'll assign it to a certain day. And then obviously you've got work matters, and you've got work study stuff that you have to do, and I'll also prioritize that. So it's very like time based, and to-do lists just literally get me through. Like, it's my coping mechanism, like in life, apart from other things. I love a good to-do list. Like, it just helps me know what I need to do and when I need to do it as well. It stops me forgetting stuff. So yeah, that's my main thing.
What are some of the challenges that you currently have as a person who is a pharmacist working full time and having a business that you're trying to build as well?
I think discipline is like a big thing, because yes, I have a to-do list, but if I don't follow it, then it's not much use. So it's like, obviously you're at work like 8 to 9 hours of the day, including travel time, and then you come home and you've got maybe like 4 hours, depending on what time you go to bed. And then if you're working the weekend or not, it depends. So it's like, it's very like, I think staying disciplined and being like, okay, when I get home, I'm actually going to do this, I'm going to do that. Because there's days where I get home and I've got 5 things on my to-do list, I so much movie instead. So it's like, it doesn't always go to plan, but I think as well, like giving yourself some grace and being like, it's okay if I don't get X, Y, Z done today. Like, I'm building like contingency into your plan as well. So it's like, okay, I can do that maybe tomorrow instead. Because sometimes you just need to take a break. And I think not overworking yourself is one of my big challenges, because I'm very like, I'm always on the go. Like, I like to always be doing stuff. I get restless easily. So it's kind of like not overworking yourself, because it's like, yes, I could do all of this stuff, but if I'm going to be tired and stressed out and not able to concentrate the next day, then it's not worth it. So I think for me, staying disciplined in a healthy way, that's probably one of the hardest things. Yeah, distributing your time properly. Yeah.
What are some successes that you would say you've had so far, whether it's in, pharmacy, whether it's in business?
Oh, that's a good question to ask. So I'd say in my business, for me, when I went over 100 followers, I was like, people actually want to like stay and like see my products. And now we're like almost at 200. So I'm like, wow, that's great. So for me, that was a really big thing, because as much as a like is good on Instagram, I think for me it's more like the followers and the people that re-share stuff, because it's like, oh, you actually like it to the point that you want other people to see it. That's when I'm like, well, okay, like this is good, because that's kind of my audience and that's kind of the potential customers. And in terms of pharmacy, I think just getting the job that I have right now, for me, that's still like such a big thing. Yeah. And I think even looking back, so because obviously like I've become like self-employed partially because of the business. And I was looking back at like how many orders I had in the first year. And I was like, oh, wow, I actually had a lot more than I thought that I had. So for me, that was quite encouraging, because it was like, okay, we're doing something here. We're making progress. People are actually trying to make orders. So yeah, I think those are like my personal successes.
And so what drives you to do what you're doing?
What drives me? Okay, so one would be the fact that I actually like doing it. I think that helps. 2, I would say, is the impact that you see it has. So like, I've had some orders where like a few months later they've contacted me and it's like, oh, like they're showing me like the same photos or the same frame. They're like, oh, they still really like this present, and they were just thanking me and remembering all the messages that they were reading. They were like, thank you so much for doing this for me. Like, you really strengthened our relationship, whether it's like they got married or whether it's like it was a friendship, and they're just reminiscing over it, and it's like, this happened a year ago or this happened 6 months ago.
So what does success mean to you?
What does success mean to me? I'm not sure I know. I think maybe just being in a state of contentment, but not in a state of like comfortability, but being content with where you are, but still being able to reach for better. I think that's probably my definition of success, because I think I don't want to reach a level where I'm like, I've made it, and then I don't want to keep going or keep like trying for more. But at the same time, I don't want to be a place where I'm constantly like, I want to do better and I feel like I'm not achieving anything. So I think success is when I've reached a point where I'm like, okay, I'm actually content with where I am, but I can see better if I keep going in this direction or that direction. So I think for me, that's success. I don't think success is a destination. I think it's just a state of being as you're in movement, if that makes sense.